Have you ever wondered what actually happens in therapy? Like what goes on behind that closed door? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole process. We're going to follow the journey of a character who starts out in a place that, honestly, a lot of us might recognize. Let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? Like you're in a rut that's so deep you just can't see a way out. On the outside, you might be going through the motions, but on the inside, something just feels off, broken even. You just feel stuck. And no matter how many times you tell yourself to just get over it, it doesn't work.
So this is Toad. And from the outside, the guy has it all. A beautiful home, good friends, he's well-respected. But when we first meet him, he's in a really deep depression. We're talking can't get out of bed level of unhappiness. And his friends, they mean well, they really do. They try to cheer him up, they get frustrated with him, they tell him to just snap out of it, but nothing helps.
So finally, his friend Badger just puts his foot down and says, "You have to go to counseling." And Toad, well, he reluctantly agrees. But here's the thing. The real journey doesn't actually start because his friend told him to go. It starts when Toad makes the choice for himself.
See, Toad walks in expecting to be told what to do to just be fixed. But the very first question the counselor asks him is so powerful. He asks, so who's my client here? You or your friends? And that question right there, that's the foundation of all real therapy. It has to be your choice. Toad has to decide for himself, take ownership by paying his own bill, and actually commit to showing up every week. You just can't pay someone else to do your push-ups for you, right? It's the same with personal growth.
So what happens in those first few sessions? Well, it often starts with a question that sounds super simple but is actually really hard. How are you feeling? And just like a lot of us, Toad realizes he doesn't really have the words for it. So that's job number one, just learning to speak the language of your own emotions.
To help him out, the counselor suggests this idea of a feelings thermometer. Think of it like a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is feeling completely hopeless, maybe even suicidal, and 10 is just thriving, feeling on top of the world. So he asks Toad, where are you on that scale? And Toad says 1.5. For the very first time, he has a way to actually measure and put words to the depth of his own despair.
And this is absolutely crucial. You see, putting a name and a number on his feeling doesn't magically fix it, but it makes it real. It turns this vague, overwhelming fog of sadness into something he can actually look at and work with. Gaining that kind of awareness is the first essential step before any real change can happen.
Now, as Toad starts to tell his stories, always saying sorry, trying to make everyone else happy, a clear pattern starts to emerge. So his counselor introduces him to a framework to help him see what's going on. It's called transactional analysis, which is just a way of looking at the different modes we operate from in our daily lives.
Okay, so now we're going a layer deeper. We're moving past just naming the feelings and starting to dig into the unconscious scripts. Those little voices in our head that have been running the show for years, often without us even realizing it. Transactional analysis says we all have these 3 ego states. There's the child state, which holds all our feelings and how we learn to cope as kids. Then there's the parent state, which is like a recording of all the rules and voices from our parents and other authority figures. And finally, there's the adult state, our rational, logical, here-and-now self. The big insight for Toad is that he isn't just remembering feeling like a sad little kid. In those moments, he is literally re-experiencing the world from that child ego state.
And this leads to another big idea, life positions. These are the core beliefs we form about ourselves and others when we're really young. Toad realizes he lives in the I'm not okay, you're okay box. And this isn't just a belief, it becomes a script for his entire life. If you fundamentally believe you're not okay and everyone else is, you'll subconsciously act in ways that prove it's true, like always apologizing or playing the victim.
Then comes the bombshell. Toad starts talking about his dad, who was super critical and demanding. He feels this rush of anger, but his parents are long gone. So who is he really angry at? The counselor asks him, "Who do you judge, Toad?" And after this long, heavy silence, Toad finally gets it. He says, "I judge myself." He took his father's critical voice and made it his own. It's been running his life ever since. And this moment, this is where everything starts to shift. All these little insights have been building up, and they finally explode into a moment of pure, real emotion. And this isn't just some random outburst, it's a massive breakthrough.
Toad gets genuinely, properly angry, but this time he directs it right at his counselor.
And in that moment, he's not shrinking into his compliant child state. No way. He is standing up to an authority figure, expressing a real adult feeling. He's angry, but he's in control of it. And that kind of therapeutic anger isn't a sign that things are going wrong. It's a huge sign of growth.
So this breakthrough leads to maybe the most important lesson of the whole journey. The counselor asks Toad how much longer he's going to blame other people for his unhappiness. Because blame keeps you powerless. It keeps you stuck in the past, forever the victim. It says, they did this to me, so there's nothing I can do.
Now, when Toad hears this, he thinks it means he has to blame himself, but the counselor offers this incredible reframe. Responsibility has nothing to do with blame. It's all about empowerment. It's about saying, yeah, my past shaped me, but right here, today, I have the power to choose how I respond. And that shift, well, that shift is everything.
So, armed with this new sense of responsibility, Toad is no longer just the passenger in his own life, just reacting to his old programming. He is actively starting to choose a new path for himself. And the changes start to show, not just in the therapy room, but out in the real world.
Hey, remember that feelings thermometer from the beginning? In his very last session, the counselor asks him one more time, "Where are you now, Toad?" And his answer? 9. A 9! He started at a 1.5. And this isn't just a number. It represents real, tangible change. He's sleeping again. He's making plans. He's reconnecting with his friends. He's taking charge of his own life.
So is Toad cured? Well, the point of therapy wasn't to erase his personality. He still sings his silly, boastful songs, but now he does it because it's fun, not because he's desperately trying to prove he's okay. He's gained self-awareness, and more importantly, the freedom to choose how he wants to be. The therapy sessions are over, but his journey of growth is really just beginning.
Look, Toad's story is a fable, of course, but the principles behind it are very, very real. And maybe while you were listening, some parts of his journey felt a little familiar.
Do you recognize that really harsh inner critic, or that nagging feeling of just not being good enough no matter what you do? What about being exhausted from constantly trying to please everyone? Or the frustration of watching yourself fall into the same painful patterns over and over again? These are exactly the kinds of things that therapy can help you to finally understand and begin to change.
When you boil it all down, Toad's journey really shows us this profound truth, which was put perfectly by the psychologist Carl Rogers. Real change doesn't come from hating yourself or trying to force yourself to be different. It comes from the moment you can finally, truly understand and accept yourself, flaws and all. And it's from that place of acceptance that real, lasting transformation becomes possible.